Okay, we're going to go ahead and install PHP and then test our Lemp server. So we're going to go and install PHP. There are various modules for PHP, so go ahead, if you're following along with us, you go ahead and use these. These dashes correspond to the technologies you're using along with your web server and your database, so they're fairly specific. Okay, now in this case I had installed it before on the web server that I'm using, so basically it didn't have to download anything, it just installed the packages. We're just going to go ahead and test the restart on it. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually configure Nginx to use PHP. Okay, so we're going to go in and edit the configuration file for the default website. So notice that it's sudo for the admin user, then nano to text edit, and then this is the path to the in the sites available folder of the Nginx folder. Basically, it's the default file, so it's the definition for the default website. Okay, notice in the instructions here we have some red areas, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and find those in turn and then kind of explain what we're doing. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and add Index Php here. Okay, notice that these are the file names. If given a directory, then Nginx is going to serve up whatever file is in the directory first. So if we point it at the directory, it's going to look for one of these file names along here. When you're hardening your server, basically, when you're securing it, you would go ahead and you do some different things to these settings to not allow anybody to get just a directory. So you want people to know a specific file name in order to get something off your server. So, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just get the IP address out of PuTTY here. So this is the IP address that I connected with in PuTTY. You can go back to Amazon Web Services or wherever you're hosting and use that. Okay, so I went ahead and pasted right here into the server name. So notice the server name for us is just going to be our IP address. If we were using a domain name, that's where we'd put the domain name. It's a little bit of a different setup. That's fairly easy though, so you can look that up. Okay, I'm going to uncomment here. Now this line was previously common, but I'm going to uncomment location, the line for include, the line for fast CGI pass. So that's we're down here in the instructions, and then we're also going to remember to uncomment. So these are commented out lines, right? So we're just going to remove the comments from the lines we need. We're going to go down, and then finally we're going to do this location. So this is in case we use HT access files, which we might. Okay, so we're going to uncomment those, and then we're going to go ahead and click exit and save. Okay, now once this whole server is all set up, I like to go ahead and actually reboot the whole server. It just tends to make everything kind of play well together. I know it's not technically necessary, but I do like to just go ahead and reboot. It tends to work better, so we're going to do sudo reboot. Okay, and notice it lost connection there. So we're going to reload our SSH connection. Notice it's not connecting yet. It takes a second for it to reload. Okay, and there it is. It's rebooted. Takes just a minute. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to check the, for Nginx, we need to go ahead and check the configuration file. We probably should have done this before you rebooted, but it'll work just fine. So, so it says it's okay. In this case, then we're going to go reload Nginx. And really the reboot should have taken care of all this, but sometimes it doesn't. So, all right, now we're going to go ahead and test the Lemp stack. So we're going to make sure that PHP is working with Nginx. So we're going to open this in our var HTML path, right? So notice this is our home directory of our default web server. We're just going to go ahead and make this info.php, and this is kind of a classic file here. I already had it in there, so you're just going to copy and paste this code, the PHP tag and then PHP info. That's just a standard call. And then we don't have a closing tag at the end. It's kind of weird, but you don't need one. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and close it. You would have to save that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and open up oops. Go ahead and get my URL again. Get my IP address here. Okay, so that was it. And we're going to go ahead and go straight to the server. Hit enter. Oops, mine was already running something. So we're going to go info PHP. And there we have it. So if you get here and you can type in your IP address in info PHP, then we know that that PHP is up and running on your server. So that's where we're at. So we installed PHP and we configured it to run with Nginx. All right, best of luck.